Good morning, welcome back to casa.texpina. We're on build day number 227 today. It's Tuesday and it's a holiday today, apparently. Here in the Philippines, today is a holiday. It is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. They do religious holidays fairly frequently here throughout the Philippines. So they do religious holidays for Catholics, for Iglesia ni Cristo, for Islam. There's several different religions that they add the religious holidays throughout the year, and when they have it, it's typically a non-working holiday for all government employees and most other establishments. We happen to be able to still be working because we had permission from our subdivision that as long as we maintained a respectable level of noise down to a certain level and not bothering the neighbors, that we can continue. Well, since most of our work is inside, that shouldn't be a problem. I think actually we get more noise from the neighbors' dogs, but we're okay, so we're good. So let's walk around and see where our guys are working at today, and let's get started. Let's go ahead and walk in and see where everybody's at today. Up here on the front, since Mr. Allen and Mr. Alex finished the ceiling and cornice work yesterday, Mr. Ricky today is going back and doing mud and tape, and Macias around the seams and the cornice work, so that all those will be hidden and ready for paint. Okay, let's go look inside. Coming inside, going down the hallway, we got Mr. JR doing some minor repairs as we did the first coat with the semi-gloss. A lot of the imperfections in the walls become a bit readily apparent, so he's going over some of the rough spots with sandpaper, some more skim coat, and prepping for paint for the next level of paint here. Okay, so out on the back patio, we've got Mr. Henry, one of our varnishers, is back to work doing prepping the doors, and Mr. Lloyd is putting on the second coat, or the final coat of paint for just the patio section here that's underneath the overhang. Something that's not going to be disturbed by the landscapers when they get started, hopefully later this week. They were supposed to be here yesterday. I believe they got rained out, and today I think they're probably assuming it's a holiday. So when they show up this week, they'll get started out here putting in fill material up against the fence line and all this back area and the rest of the way around the building. So let's go ahead and walk here into the garage area. We got Mr. Wilson is continuing with the sanding and painting, or sanding of the skim coat, or the mud and tape areas. So he's sanding the mud and tape areas. He's getting ready for paint here in the garage. And Mr. Alex is continuing to work with door casings. So he's going to do the door casings and baseboards here in the garage area. So that's what Mr. Alex is working on today. And last but not least, our carpenter, Mr. Allen, is working on our cabinet doors for the dirty kitchen, making these to the right size and ready for installation here on the top. And Mr. Stanley quickly working his way around. The fence line being the posts on the inside, so he's got three more left to do. He's already done all the way around the other side, so all the rest of them are ready. So Mr. Stanley's working on that. And again, Mr. Lloyd is continuing with the final coat of the exterior wall paint here on the patio area. So this is only for the patio area because we still have landscaping to do down here. We don't want to mess up the paint just yet. And Mr. Henry is continuing with the prepping for the doors. Well, today's going to be a painting day, so we're focusing on mud and tape up here on the front porch area. I already got the tape in place, and he's just doing the second coat of mud over the top. And Mr. JR is putting on the final coat of paint for the white ceiling area around the dining room. And Mr. Gel is painting the molding for the archway here for the living room. Putting on the prime coat. This is the base coat that we're using here. And we've already got our mirror frames for our bathrooms all together, painted, ready to go. They're just waiting for the mirror. And Mr. Allen is continuing with the cabinet doors. So he's trimming, doing a little trim on them, a little trim and plane. So shave them down to the size he needs. Quicker, a little bit more precise than trying to cut it with a hand saw or an electric saw. So he's just using the planer there, shaving it right down to the size he needs it. Let's see what they're doing out here. All the noise, Mr. Alex is the one making all the noise, and he's prepping door casings to go in place for the utility room. He's already done the bathroom and maid's room. And Mr. Wilson is continuing with sanding. That's a big ceiling, so he's been at it for yesterday and today. All right, so Mr. JR is in the hallway. He's putting on the last coat of fresh paint, wet paint here. So we got all the imperfections cleaned up, and he's putting on new paint. Okay. Still working on. Now we're on sanding of the mud and tape area up above the ceiling of the front porch, and a little bit of Macias. Bedroom. And out here along the sidewalls on the fence, looks like Mr. Stanley has started painting the main fence wall, so that's going along. So it looks like he'll complete some of this today. We'll show you at the end of the day where he's at. We got the faucets in for the utility and dirty kitchen and other essential parts and pieces. Our stack of kitchen cabinet doors with hinges installed. These are the hydraulic soft close type. Those are the stack ready to go. Oh, sorry. These are going to get done. Working on these. Finished. Well, we got a couple of cabinet doors in today. Here in the main kitchen. Yeah. Nicely done. Nicely done. Very nicely done. So, looking good. More to follow. Alright, today we get a big present today. Today we're getting the water filtration system is going to be installed. It has arrived on site. So this goes along with the 2 water tanks that were here on the side. So we got 2 storage tanks. We got a pressure tank, which is the one on top. Lots of additional piping. And the whole filtration system is here on the stainless steel cage with, let's see, I think Mr. Roger had mentioned this is 21 stage filtration with LowePro and pressure pump and UV filter at the end. It says by the end of the time this gets processed, the water will process through this. We will have basically mineral water. I said this will be any water coming straight out of the tap in the house will be safe for human consumption, safe for drinking, without worry of bacteria, amoebas, and the sort. No worry of discoloration. Hard water is gone, all in here. So we'll show you this as it gets going throughout the day.
Yung sensor, dahil makina.
Oh, okay.
So kailangan na pang mag-full
before you can run it. Okay.
Sakto yan.
Alright, got back from lunch. These guys already got a head start on me. So they built the whole unit back at their shop to get it here. Brought it here and they're taking it apart and starting to put all the stuff together. So we've got 3 large tanks, manual heads, filtration all the way through, storage tank from the main to here. This is no pressure at all, so it's whatever normal pressure is under the water main. Then it'll go through the system, gets pressurized, has a storage tank for purified water or filtered water, and then a pressure tank before going out to the house. So this setup is for everything in the house, so that the water coming out of the tap is good to drink. The water going through all the pipes, there's no sediment, no contamination, nothing that will cause any kind of erosion, corrosion, anything to do with the pipes. So we should have good clean water in all locations within the house. We do have a separate line that will come out and connects to, you may see it right here, 4 hose bibs on the outside of the house that is purely unfiltered, regular straight water from the tap. Alright, so we're getting water into the tank. So all the pieces are, well, it's connected up to the filtration unit. So the first thing they're doing is going to fill the tank, and then they're going to continue connecting the rest. We got lights. A little bit of power. Put in some the water softener piece.
Exciting. So exciting too.
Okay, so the main installation is done. Now we're doing the pre-service and testing. So the way this is supposed to work is I'm understanding right now, and Mr. Roger's still working on looking at the test as he's doing the initial flush. So water straight from our main source comes here to a holding tank. The holding tank goes through a pressure pump with an automatic sensor on it. So if the main tank gets too low, the pressure pump cuts off. You won't get any water through the rest of the system. That way this machine doesn't burn out. Now from there, this is going to go up through the 3 large tanks in the back. So we go pebbles, silica sand, activated carbon on the top. Oh, sorry, charcoal. Then the second tank goes pebbles, activated carbon. Then the next one is pebbles and softener. There is a brine tank attached to the back over there, which we'll get to later. Once that comes through, the third tank, it goes down, comes through the first 2 sedimentation tanks here at the bottom, and then comes back up and into the ROPU, or the reverse osmosis unit. So once this goes through, it'll go through here. It has 2 more, a sedimentation tank and a activated charcoal tank. So then it goes through here, goes through the UV filter, comes through UV filter, goes up, comes into the holding tank for purified water. From here, it goes through a booster pump. The booster pump goes into a pressurized tank, and the pressurized tank then fills the whole house. So we've got one line here that goes for all the cold water. Okay, and we have another one directly underneath that is going to supply the solar hot water heater up there. So that's the system in a nutshell. All right, so just initial testing. This is the water coming out at the end. Here, this is water, the water coming into the system. This is done on a chlorine test or pH test. Sorry, not chlorine test, pH test. So you can see the one coming in has a pH of 7, so or a little bit 6.5 to 7, kind of neutral. After just the first 3 filters, we're at about an 8 to an 8.5. By the time we get done with the 3 filters and the final product, we're showing a 9, almost, yeah, that's a good 9 pH, which is alkaline water. So, all right, we're gonna call it for the evening. It's past yabba dabba doo time. Our general labor crew left probably about almost an hour ago. We're still wrapping up, doing a little bit of troubleshooting and last part set up on the water filtration system that you see behind us. We have not run it into the main house yet. We are waiting for the plumbers to complete their jobs with the rest of the fixtures and toilets and yes, those things inside the facility. So once those are completed, when we get ready to run the system, it'll all be there. The next big thing to be going in will be the solar hot water heater on Friday. So that's coming on Friday. So we'll have something to look forward to there. Also between now and then, we may see the CCTV guys show up. I will show you some of the work, but not all of the work for the security of the system. So if y'all like today's video, please give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these videos, hit the casa.texpina star right over here and you'll be subscribed. Hit the bell icon just below the view screen and you'll be notified of our next video upload for your viewing pleasure. So until we see you again tomorrow, have a great afternoon and God bless.